Mariota and DeAnthony Thomas are back with Oregon, and their old offensive coordinator has a new role. We'll have Mark Helfrich and Janine Edwards talking about that later. DeAnthony Thomas at the goal line. Speed to burn, but the Cavaliers swarm him at the 10-yard line. Great kick coverage by Virginia. DJ Hill, a backup linebacker. Marcus Mariota put up incredible numbers a year ago as a freshman. 32 touchdowns passing, a Pac-12 freshman record. 38 total touchdowns. That was a school record. He also rushed for 752 yards. He is an incredible talent.
His throws early were off target quite often. Had a little foot issue. They've worked with his timing. Let's see if he cleans that up against a better defense.
Bryson Marshall, his tailback right now. Instead, the pass to the sideline to Lyerla, the tight end. He has it at the 24-yard line for a first down. This is a very talented kid on the Mackey Award watch room.
Right on time, right on target.
Mariota on the keeper. Nicholls State, of course, was a mismatch, and look at the averages. Yards rushing, 22.6 a carry, 17.7 and 15.5. The receivers, including a 40-yard catch. I mean, just ridiculous numbers. How much they relate to the rest of the season, we'll, of course, wait and see.
Yeah, I don't think Nicholls State's back on the schedule for a while, so see how they do in their non-conference.
Too many men in the backfield by the offense. 5 yards. Replay. Second down.
It'll cost them 5 yards. We have a Pac-12 officiating crew today. Sean Hockey. 2nd and 7 for the Ducks. DeAnthony Thomas cuts it off tackle. Gets a couple. Lyerla splits out. They'll even use him, number 15, as a running back. Pressure coming. Quarterback keeper. Plenty of room. Mariota. No one around him. And he outruns the entire Virginia defense for 71 yards. Now they see a defense they think will stop it, and they'll bring it back in for the place kicker.
I love that wrinkle on your special teams. It gives the other team so much to think about during the week and doesn't take long to do.
And they fake it after they go back in kick formation. And it's the holder, Dustin Haynes. Well, just when Virginia settles in and said, okay, they're going to kick it, they run a trick.
Yeah, and the trouble for Virginia head coach Mike London is on both of these, the touchdown and the two-point conversion, there is nobody over the top on defense. There is no safety near Mariota, and on that two-point conversion, there was no linebacker or safety to that side of the formation.
Mizell 4 yards deep in the end zone for the Cavaliers. Mizell up to the 23, maybe the 24.
Watch the safety, the free safeties, and the strong safety. That's Anthony Harris on the left and Brandon Phillips on the right. At the very end there, Anthony Harris is trying to get Brandon Phillips to back out and play the deep safety because it was a balanced spread formation position.
A lot of pressure today on the Virginia offense. Can they sustain some drives? Can they keep the ball away from Oregon? Parks breaks it to the outside. And a flag goes down at the end of the play. That might have been a face mask.
Offense number 6. 10 yards. Replay. First down.
It's the wide receiver, Darius Jennings.
And watch as he holds Ifo Ekpe-Olumu, and as soon as the guy gets out of your frame, you just have to let go.
Played for the first time in 2 years last week. He redshirted his previous season. Watford with his first throw goes out in the flat, complete to Tim Smith. Certainly a work in progress. Third down, about 5. Parks, stutter step, can't get outside.
Addison. And here's another guy who can score from anywhere. So if this were out near midfield, if I'm Virginia, I'm probably going for this.
Vozenelik to punt. Addison is deep, waits inside his 30. High, short kick. There's going to be really good field position for the Ducks when we come. Lambeth Field here at Virginia, where they used to play football about 100 years ago, and they claim the first time the forward pass was ever thrown.
Yes, the game is changing, and I think these spread offenses are going to change the game, not only from a schematic standpoint, but also for safety. I think it's could potentially.
Marshall with the carry. He's wrapped up in a hurry by Romero. Let's check in with Janine.
Well, Mike, if you're Virginia defensive coordinator John Tenuta, playing Oregon is your worst nightmare. He actually started prepping for this game back in the winter. He worked on it all spring and summer. He's talked to other coaches around the country. He told me if you watch Stanford and how they play Oregon, they play them pretty well. He said what he's learned is that certain fronts just will not work with these guys. He's had his defense go against 2 huddles all week in practice to simulate Oregon's tempo. And after that first series by Oregon, I can tell you the Virginia linebackers and safeties were getting chewed out.
And Janine, he said they cannot afford to let the ball get outside the tackle box no matter what. Another running play, and Daquan Romero with another tackle. A surprisingly inefficient series for Oregon.
Drive that front played very well for UVA.
First punt of the season for Alejandro Maldonado. You almost wonder if he can remember how he's
bigger, almost not conference games.
Parks on the toss. Breaks the tackle, picks up about 3. Middle linebacker Rodney Hardrick. He managed only 223 yards in total offense and still won. And that pass incomplete. Crowd wanted.
The question is the ball catchable? And it looked in the place where Jennings may have been able to fall for it. That was a missed call.
Would have been a huge call for them. They'll go with the 2 tight end formation on 3rd and 7. Pressure coming, and they'll blow it dead. Delay of game.
Delay by the offense. 5 yards. 3rd down.
Paid a lot of money for those new coaches. Complete to the tight end up to about the 13-yard line. Jake McGee makes the grab.
Punting again.
Rosenelek, who had a 21-yard punt, has that one blocked. And it goes out of bounds at the 14-yard line.
The best guys to block punts are actually wide receivers. The bottom of your screen, in the middle, Huff did a wonderful job. That took entirely too long to get that punt off.
Sure
Huff
did.
was able, from the middle, to actually run around the wedge and get the block. That punt should have gotten off about a half second before that.
If he has to take a route that's that long, he should never get to the
It looked to me, I thought he was lining to the outside, but he started in the middle and went around. That just took forever.
Mariota in the gun. And again, they'll test the middle.
By the officials letting the defense make some substitutions because the offense did. But,
Mariota has handed it off to him. Has had 4 straight running plays up the middle, and they have given them nothing. And somebody is either hurt or cramping up, and they'll stop play. While we have the opportunity, let's take a look at today's Impact matchup brought to you by Chick-fil-A.
Well, one of the real strengths of this Oregon team is we've already seen Josh Huff in the special teams, but you've mentioned Colt Lyerla, who's a really talented big athlete. Demetrius Nicholson, the best cover corner for Virginia. We just saw Anthony Harris, the strong safety who played great against BYU, trying to make an adjustment to help the middle of the field. But this, with the defensive front for Virginia and that secondary, that's their best shot.
Mariota has Thomas with him in the backfield. Mariota over the middle, a wide open receiver to the goal line and marked down, maybe a foot away, Daryl Hawkins.
But Virginia having a real hard time just lining up.
And they caught Virginia with an extra man on the field.
Before the snap and before the foul for the defense having 12 men, the previous play is under further review. The ruling on the field is that the runner was stopped short of the goal line.
Watch Hawkins.
Again, it's that middle of the field. I think he scored.
Need to see another angle. That's tough.
But watch as he goes down. As his elbow hit before the ball. Yeah, well, from that angle, he wouldn't be able to overturn it because the elbow did hit.
Thomas up the middle, bumps a defender, and then walks in. Logan is in as the kicker, as they will alternate kickers. And it was partially blocked, and it's no good. For Oregon, they're already up 14-0, and a squibber that gets by Mizell. He has to pick it up inside the 10 and swarmed over short of that yard from when we saw him start his career there. Little toss out in the flat. Khalid Shepard will pick up a first down as he gets it up across the 20.
They can get that going.
Taquan Mizell, one of their big-time recruits, picks up 8 yards. His nickname is Smoke.
A guy that they don't have a lot of explosive players. That'd be a big loss.
Shepard powers his way to a first down. They handled him pretty well. Tight end Zachary Swanson, makes the catch. Totally calm and in control. This to Darius Jennings. That on the thought that Oregon's going to score 50, 60 points, which is not a bad assumption. Watford under pressure. Tipped and intercepted. Picked up by Terrence Mitchell. Mitchell's got a couple of blockers, now reverses his field and has more. Look at this run by Mitchell. Then he fumbled, but I think he was down.
And because that suspension was in the first half, they got Mitchell back for this week. The ball goes lot of white jerseys over there. They read the rollout perfectly. The throw not great, but it went off the hands of Dominique Terrell. And then a nice return by Mitchell.
Would have been a great catch. Instead, it turns into an interception. Thomas, look at that quickness. Good grief. Thomas. Jake Fisher threw him a block at the corner. At least 2 guys had an angle.
Jake Fisher completely got the edge. That was exactly what John Tenuta said couldn't happen to this Virginia defense. And the speed, boy, how did he stay in? Sure looked like he did. They're not reviewing now the speed of DeAnthony Thomas.
The ruling on the field is a touchdown. The previous play is under further review.
So here's an interesting rule. The ball actually goes outside the pylon.
Stands as called.
Yep.
It is a touchdown.
The ball went outside the pylon. In college football, to get what's called goal line extended, meaning the goal line goes out of bounds, the offensive player has to touch the pylon or in the end zone, which DeAnthony Thomas did.
The point after by Maldonado. Mizell and Shepard are deep. Better kick this time. Mizell 4 yards deep, and Shepard says, let's take it here and go out to the 25.
He's one of the few guys who will make this transition well.
Out of the eye this time. Parks. Defense work in the NFL at Cunningham.
Yeah, I think it will. I think Chip is one of those guys who, it's not really the system. He's built the system because that's what he knows. He's a guy who really gets the game. The players respond to him very well. I made a comment during the offseason. I thought Oregon would take a step back because Chip Kelly, to me, is just one of those people that's special as a coach. Now, being around the program, seeing how steady it is under the hand of Mark Helfrich, I'm not sure how much of a step it's actually going to take back now that I've been around them this week. But that's a good coach.
3-man rush. Watford still under pressure. He'll try to carry it. Dives forward near the 30. It'll be 3rd and call it 6. The thing they have done in Oregon going back many, many years, starting with Rich Brooks, they have filled those vacancies internally. They have brought guys up. The culture remains the same. They've done a marvelous job.
A lot of people don't realize that the Oregon system started being built in 1977 by Rich Brooks. And if you don't know who Rich Brooks is, look it up. He was a wonderful coach at Oregon and the last guy who won regularly at Kentucky. The guy could really coach.
3rd and 5. 4-man rush. Low pass. Completed right at the sticks to make pretty good conversion for a guy who came as a quarterback. Parks. They try a little misdirection look. Easy way to start for him. Short pass again. This time to Parks.
Looks quite different today.
Gamble and Smith are the wide receivers. Watford, here comes a blitz. He'll throw underneath again. His tight end Jake McGee.
The contact that was the target, and that was a nice job by Dargan going low.
Shepard, room to run. Shepard, great cut to the 20. He's got a chance. Touchdown, Derek Shepard. And Virginia in front of a big crowd comes.
Such a better job getting the ball around in the passing game, and now you set up your power run game, and right there Dargan playing very deep because they're starting to throw a little bit, but Dargan does not break down. Shepard makes a great cut back across. We saw Dargan do the nice job earlier on the tackle going low. That time overruns the play, and I think you're right, Mike. If they don't score and have a positive drive there, this could be 100-0 now.
They'll kick it away. Thomas at the goal line.
Whoa, looks a little slow to get up.
Yeah, it was Ramey being blocked by Buckner. Oregon so far in this quarter, 9 carries for 123 yards. Yikes. They'll try the middle of that line again with Marshall, and Marshall's pushed back. Look, there's the ball on the ground. Is it a fumble? No, they're going to say it's
going very fast because they don't want him reviewed. Very smart.
And the challenge flag came out.
No, that was Mariota.
That's a penalty flag.
Mariota he had a yellow towel in his waistband, and right before the snap, he yanked it and threw it, so it looked like a flag.
This will be 3rd and 10. Haven't even had a chance to show you the replay of that because of this hurry-up offense, but we will. Mariota forced out of the pocket, throws on the run, and that's out of bounds. Again, high, short kick, and there was contact just as the ball got there.
To throw a flag for kick catch
within
interference.
1 inch.
Yeah, that's a missed call. It's close. That's closing, but again, it's a safety thing. But luckily, everyone's okay.
It's a safety thing, so if it's questionable, you've got to make that call, don't you?
Yeah, I think you do.
Back to the ground for Virginia, and they will run out the clock in the first quarter. 28 points on the board in the first 15 minutes of football from Charlottesville. And it's 21-7, Oregon. Because of the pace of this game, it's 21-7 as we start the second quarter. This is the first chance we've had to show you what we thought was a fumble, and surely it was. And then recovered. Oregon goes so fast, they put everybody in a real bind, including the replay booth. Watford, good throw that time. That bumper. Taquan Mizell is in the game. They look his way, throw back the other way to their favorite receiver, Darius Jennings. It's a fine line there. You don't want to stop the game unnecessarily, but you want to make sure the call is right. Oregon had a player line up off sides and barely got back. And here's McGee fighting for extra yardage. Oregon tries to dial up some pressure. Now they'll come with 4. Watford floats this to the near side. A catchable ball for Jennings, and it went through his hands.
Just the ball floats just a little bit. Takes a while. Good coverage by Hill. But now you have to go for this. If you
try to spread the field. Got McGee to this side. It's a flanker screen, and nothing doing. Marshall at tailback. He'll get the carry. No! Mariota with a fake, and he's gone again.
Colt Lyerla, he just absolutely went up on the safety, Harris, and swallowed him up in the block.
Want to throw a little screen, and great athleticism by Brent Urban.
Tight end here, Lyerla, as he releases, and it looks like a pass to Harris, and then just has no chance to get off the block of the 6'5", 250-pound tight end.
They are so high on Lyerla. He is a do-everything, freakish kind of athlete. Mariota being chased. They get to him just as he throws and completes it to the 35-yard line to Darrell Hawkins. What a a great throw and a nice catch.
I would think maybe an option to the left, going very fast.
Flanker screen. How's that for a 4th and short call? Did he get to the line of scrimmage?
Watch the form by number 1. He fights through the block. Not much of a block by Josh Huff. Huff missed him. And
Downs, it's 1st and 10 for Virginia. After the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct by number 75 Oregon. Throat flag. 15 yards, first down.
Shepherd, the tailback on this series. Nowhere to go on the toss. He thought he'd have a chance to run it a little more, maybe even an option look or two. Straight ahead, gee, not much. Gamble is in along with Terrell and Tim Smith. Terrell, number 2, is in the slot near side. Watford chased. Can't find anybody. Now throws the sideline and dropped.
just a little. Watch how Parks goes to release. Very smart, but the ball thrown to the outside. He turned to the inside. I think you do have to punt it, but you really have to think about it against Oregon.
They're going to be old school on you. Braylon Addison, as that one hangs high but goes into the end zone. Have cut it to a 14-point spread, and now Oregon will start from its own 20-yard line. DeAnthony Thomas, the running back. Mariota the throw, and incomplete right through the hands of Lyerland.
Because he is a really special player, but he's got to dial it in a bit.
That one had some heat on it, though.
Yeah, it did.
Here comes Thomas. Look at that burst. Holy cow. Tackle way downfield on that one. Fake to Thomas. Then they'll swing it to him. Thomas across midfield. Down near the 30.
Went to stop because of the movement of DeAnthony Thomas, who got stiff arm.
Flanker screen. Braylon Addison. Touchdown.
Well, when they run a system like this and spread you out and then have the athletes like that, be a good touchdown dance.
You do it first. Khalid Shepard for the Cavaliers. And let's take a look at our Pacific Life game summary. Oregon's offense as good as advertised. They're up 28-7. Mariota already has 196 total yards in offense. Thomas 64 carries, 2 TDs. Shepard had a 45-yard touchdown run. Taquan Mizell will be the tailback for the Cavaliers. He goes out and makes the catch over the middle, and then double team and taken down at the 27-yard line. Beats that 757 area code that they recruit so heavily, and trying to keep so many of those talented kids. That's Norfolk, Virginia Beach. 3rd and 5. Terrell goes in motion. Watford throws for Terrell. He's got it out at the 32-yard line.
Throughout the broadcast, because I think if you're playing Oregon and you're undermanned, I think you have to start thinking about that.
8 men drop. They throw again to the tight end underneath. Jake McGee makes the tackle.
Defend the short field. I'd rather defend him from the 10-yard line in than the other side 20.
Those mathematicians that come up with those theories. Blitz coming. Watford hangs in the pocket and floats it up and overthrows his intended receiver, Darius Jensen. Braylon Addison, who waits at his 20. Good kick this time. A boomer toward the sideline. Addison backpedals, breaks the tackle, and takes it out across the 30. An 18-yard return.
Of course, we all know Marcus Mariota, the quarterback, can throw it. But the hard part is when you come to play Oregon, you realize, oh, wait a minute, he's pretty fast as well. And I think we all know DeAnthony Thomas is fast. But on that run, there were 2 safeties for Virginia who looked like they had angles, and number 6 outran them both.
Byron Marshall will be the tailback on this series and gets about 3 yards up the middle. Pretty good numbers in the first half. 34 yards a run for Mariota. He averaged 22.6 a week ago. Flag is down. How did he get out of there? He'll only gain a couple.
Personal foul. Illegal hands to the face by the offense, number 71. 15 yards. Replay. Second down.
Down as a walk-off a penalty against them.
Yeah, Ben Yardick, who's in the mix in that guard rotation for the Ducks, clearly has a hold of the face mask of David Dean.
2nd and 22. And they'll only gain a couple.
I think this guy's going to be a real special player for Virginia. Right now, he's pushing some white shirts backwards in the run game.
3rd and 19. Mariota with the screen and diagnosed perfectly. Byron Marshall will be tackled for a loss.
Down for that long DeAnthony Thomas run, this time just completely in the perfect position for the dump off, and was smart enough to finish the tackle.
The punt to Dominique Terrell. Booms it. Terrell back at the 28. Gets a running start and is hit out of bounds.
Because he ducked his head.
After the play was over, personal foul, late hit by Oregon number 39. 15 yards
it was in the field of play.
First down.
That's Drew Howell, the long snapper, who got that last penalty. It was a hit inbounds, not the one we had referred to earlier, but it was after the whistle, and correctly called by this crew. Watford throws, nearly picked. Take a look, and Howell will peel back a little bit. He's 38 or 39, and there's that hit.
Good call.
And definitely was after the play.
Virginia can take advantage.
Parks, the tailback. Nothing. Got back to the line of scrimmage.
There's going to come a point where you have to give up the punting game.
Watford, 3rd and long. He's going to take off. Got the first down. Badly overthrown for the end zone. Incomplete in the hands. Now they're going to say a personal foul on the play.
Roughing the quarterback by the defense number 90. 15 yards. Automatic. First down.
Pass could have been easily intercepted, but as it turns out, Mooley roughed the passer. Hit him across the face. Not much contact, but that's what the rule says.
Well, he hit him, it looked to me like across the chest. I think it was that right arm coming down. If he wouldn't have done that, I don't think they call it, but boy, that's awfully close. I'm not sure you throw that one.
Parks. Got a cut.
You pack everybody in.
Watford. Good throw out in the flat to Swanson. Swanson down to about the 13-yard line.
Got him packed in. I would love to see a run-action pass and get one of these tight ends through.
Talik Shepard in at the tailback spot. Watford in trouble. Down he goes at the 20.
Timeout, Oregon.
Oregon uses a timeout with 2:04. I think that's the safe time for their offense, no matter what happens in this situation. Ian Fry will try from 37. His one field goal this year, his 1-for-1 was from 53. And Fry is true again. For today's Aflac trivia question, Marcus Mariota's 3,429 total yards in 2012 ranks 2nd in Oregon's single-season history. Who is first? And in our production meeting last night, Ed Cunningham was all over it. Squib kick. All the way through to Lowe, and Lowe fires out to the 42. Let's go.
They're trying to help him, but you can see Mariota still, his shyness is taking over.
All right, Janine Thomas on a sweep. He keeps making plays. I don't know how much more important he can be if he keeps making 71-yard runs, flags down everywhere.
Virginia getting a little frustrated.
And Thomas wolfing with Snyder.
And at the very end there, they get number 90, Jake Snyder, who puts his hand on the face of DeAnthony Thomas and pushes him away.
After the play was over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness by Virginia number 90. Following that, unsportsmanlike conduct by Oregon number 6, taunting. Both fouls will be enforced. It will be first and 10 for Oregon.
And you could see Thomas Wolfen when he left. I think that's an excellent call. Both guys did something wrong.
Good job by this officiating crew. A game like this, who knows what the second half is going to bring, but you have to nip this stuff in the bud. And, you know, that's just a little uncalled for by Snyder. Absolutely. You know, he gets up, he leaves his knees on the player. There's no need for that. And then Thomas makes the mistake of going there and talking, but this was all started by number 90 from Virginia.
Mariota down the middle, caught at the 10. Josh Huff. The throw was on the money, but that was a sensational catch for 30 yards. And they're right back at it. Pick up maybe 4 for Marshall.
Huff, a guy who had a knee injury last year. That's an unbelievable catch. As he turns over, he got his hands underneath of it. But now, for Virginia, I think Virginia's got to start thinking about some timeouts here. 3 timeouts left. You're just going to let this clock melt. If you're in a game with Oregon, you need to go back on offense.
Huff goes to the slot left. Marshall is the running back.
And Oregon now, I think very smartly, I think they've gone to slow ball, because if Virginia's not going to take the timeout, then let's try to milk it and score with no time left.
Option. That's a forward pass. Everybody thinks it's a fumble.
But here goes Oregon fast. Good penetration again there by David Dean. This is a really good player in the middle for Virginia.
And that's something John Tenuta said they had to have. Marshall is going to be stopped short. And they're not going to be able to think touchdown either.
What great penetration that time by Urban. Going one-on-one against a very experienced center in Hronis Grasu, and just got the edge on him.
We asked our Aflac trivia question. Marcus Mariota's 3,429 total yards in 2012, only ranked 2nd in Oregon single season history. Who was first? Ed Cunningham got it right last night. Akili Smith, over almost 4,000 yards. It didn't work out for him in the pros. He was something at Oregon.
And I think he was a guy who early on in the development of this program, as we see it now, started to build there in the late 90s. I think Akili Smith was a guy that the country started looking at and saying, what are they doing out there at Oregon? Right. So I think he didn't pan out in the NFL, but I think Akili Smith was an important part of the growth of this program. Kaylee Ikipi, the nose guard, was squatted over the center, meaning really low on Ross Burbank, and Burbank short-armed it. And Virginia incredibly lucky, because on a turnover, the clock stops. Oregon would have been able to run a play.
You told me before the game we weren't going to have time for replays. You were right. Not much has changed with this Oregon offense in your second game as head coach, but how are you trying to put your own twist on things?
Couldn't be further from the last thing on my mind. We need to score touchdowns when we have chances like that, and going the other way, we have to convert that other turnover, but just not efficient enough offensively right now.
The thinking right now with the timeouts there of extending the quarter, what went into that?
Well, as you saw right there, they fumbled the snap, and that's a high anxiety situation for the center quarterback exchange, and I thought, there were a couple chances there for us to make plays.
And it worked. We'll see you in second half, Coach. Thank you.
Thank you.